Well, guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here. This is Tipsy Toe Drag Podcast. This is our third episode that we're doing live here. And today we're going to focus mostly on some Oiler discussion as well as how the Seattle expansion draft went there on yesterday. And then we're just going to get into some of the craziness that kind of went down with the NHL, all the trades, all the potential signings, all the signings that did happen today as well. And some of the big rumors kind of going around with some of the all-stars within the NHL. So just to kind of kick it off, we're going to start off with the whole Seattle expansion draft piece. Of course, Edmonton lost Larsson. Is fairly unfortunate, but what are your guys' thoughts on Seattle signing Adam Larsson?
So I'll say personally that I did not expect Seattle to sign him. I thought for sure if he's going to leave Edmonton, he was going to actually hit free agency and see what kind of teams are out there. But it kind of makes sense, He wants a fresh start, and Seattle is a completely new team. They have no culture or anything like that, and and most importantly, they have Jordan Eberle, so that can be Adam Larsson's person to be with.
I'm surprised too that it was Seattle that signed him. I didn't really see that coming. I don't think anyone called that being like a scenario that would play out. And like I was talking with you, Cam, because some people are like, why would he go to a brand new team? Like he's I know we make fun of the Oilers, but the Oilers they got some star players, and they if they get the right people in there, they could push, in the playoffs for a cup. And you're like, why would he leave that? But not every player, if they're asked that, they're going to say they want to win the cup, right? But, behind the scenes, not every player has that mentality. So, I don't know. I think he just wanted that change of scenery. And what better place to go than Seattle just to start fresh, right?
Yeah, I have to agree.
I gotta agree
with that. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think he did. I think he was a key cog in our core. You look at kind of when we signed him there for trade him with the Hall trade and stuff. I know he was kind of, like you said, kind of shat on when he came in. There's probably some bad juju or karma maybe around him because of everyone he thought he was, this guy that we traded for Taylor Hall, and he turned out to be this wicked stay-at-home defenseman there that we had for 5 years and stuff. He didn't put up the big offensive numbers, but he was sound offensively, and he was really a key piece in this defensive core, right? So now that Seattle kind of swooped him up there, it's unfortunate for sure. I know Holland kind of sounded a little bit choked today on the press conference.
Yeah, it sounded like he thought that he had him.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So some things,
but that's the thing.
Changed,
right? You can't go into these type of negotiations and assume you have this player. Like, he should have had a plan B or a plan C or whatever it is before the offseason started. He should.
That's a good. That's a good point too. Like, just for even right now, because he got questioned about losing like Clefbaum. I don't know. You can't put that on Holland, but losing Larsson for nothing. He was questioned on that, and he's like, "What do you do?" kind of thing, and he's just like, make a new plan was his comment. But it's like you're saying, you should have had a plan B. He should have been able. He should know. And maybe he's just saying that, and like you never know. They're kind of like they don't want to play all their cards on a press conference, right? So there could be more at play. But like him just saying a new plan, like you probably should have a plan B.
Yeah, I think he was
for Larsson for a big piece like that.
I think he was
should be multiple plans.
Yeah, multiple, exactly. I think he was confident that Larsson was going to come back just based on their conversations. And obviously something changed in the last few days that, kind of persuaded Larsson to explore other opportunities. And then, of course, probably Ron Francis maybe reached out and Larsson jumped and said, yeah, let's do it, right? But
I think a huge factor of Larsson, too, is that, 2 years ago, or was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago, somewhere point around there, where his father came to visit Adam Larsson, and he passed away in Edmonton,
right.
And he wasn't the same after that. He wasn't the same probably until this season that he just finished with the Oilers.
This season, yeah,
and so I think that had a huge toll on him, and I think Edmonton just has too much memories of him losing his father, and everything that we heard about Larsson, he was really close to his father, and he took this very hard, and so maybe that, I don't want to say that's a factor, but it could be part of multiple reasons why he wanted a fresh start. He just too many maybe bad memories in Edmonton. You know, the trade, the fan base, and then you have your father passing away, and just wanted to complete. That's why he wanted a fresh start in Seattle.
That's fair. Yeah, definitely just a fresh start. We'll watch McDavid tool him as much as we can, I guess, this season, but we'll see how that goes. But so kind of just keeping on the topic, I guess, the Holland press conference, like I listened in today, and I don't know, it kind of just left me uneasy after listening to that 30 minutes of kind of pain. But what do you guys kind of think about what Holland said today, and what's your impression of his plan, I guess?
I personally think man, that press conference was hard to sit there and listen to. He's just freaking mumbling and stuttering, and he just couldn't provide any answers. He's very cryptic, and then you ask him specific questions, and you can just see the look on his face of just disgust, like, why are you asking me this question? And then it's like, you know, he's sitting there trying to answer it, and he's giving these really bland, condescending responses, like, oh, what do you want me to do? What, you want me to do this, that, you know? Or he's getting questions about Clefbaum, and he's stuttering there. He's like, well, you know, like, we got this long-term injured, you know, the cap, and we got to, like, figure out the LTI, and, you know, there's 78 million, 73 million, and, you know, like, you know, I got to figure what to, you know, it's just like, come on now. Like, you should have an answer of what you're going to do with the cap. You know, you should be stuttering out there. It's either yes or no answer what you're going to use it. The question was, are you going to use that long-term injured reserve cap? And he just went on the rampage or just a rant for no reason. He just went pretty much right at the end of that rant. He's like, well, I'm the GM, so yeah, I guess, you know, I get to decide, and yeah, we're going to use that cap.
Yeah, it's just like a bunch of half coherent thoughts. It sounds like it's just a bunch of words come out, and it's hard to piece them together what his actual like answer is, you know?
Yeah.
And I know that part of it is like he can't play his cards, but like he can't even like form sentences sometimes. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't leave you with a lot of confidence. But.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to listen to, right? I mean, he's just, you know, we got players here, you know, you got some cap space to the left, and then he starts throwing out all these numbers, like, you know, he's talking about the cap, 81.5 million, and he's saying, oh yeah, well, like, you know, the Clefbaum, we're down to 78 million, well, maybe actually 76, 75. I felt like he needed a calculator or something to work it out, but it was just painful. I'm like, holy crap, and we're in trust of this guy to run this organization. Like, holy smokes, man. Like, I don't know, but he's getting up there. I guess he is 63, and we were kind of deep diving on Cap Friendly there today just to see some of his past signings.
Why is he still a GM? He's that old.
His stats.
And his kind of his track record, right? So some of those contracts didn't age too well over time. And that kind of leads into our next topic here is the potential Hyman signing in Edmonton here. So we actually heard that he threw out two different offers. One of them is a 7-year contract worth an AAV of 5.5 million, and then the 8-year contract at around just over 5. I heard it might be the same as Nuge, but I also heard it could be 5 AAV. What are your guys' thoughts on those monster length contracts for Hyman?
They're monster length. I don't think people deny that Zach Hyman's an effective player. He plays hard. He doesn't take a shift off, kind of thing. Everyone knows that. It's just a matter of what are you going to get out of him in the last half of that contract, right? The type of player he is, plays hard. Do their bodies kind of give out in the later half of their career, especially once they're over 30? And I think that's the risk that they're taking, and that's a little bit worrisome down the road, because it's going to be 5.5 or a little over 5 every year there. And it's a flat cap for a little while here. It eventually will go up, but still I don't know. It's just one of those contracts that you think are going to sting you down the road. But he's going to give us great minutes now. He's going to play. I don't know who he's going to play with, either McDavid or Draisaitl's line. But or if they want to put the dynamic duo together, they put him with Nuge, and wherever you play him, you're going to get some great seasons out of him here. But I don't know about the second half. That's where it kind of might hurt us.
I say personally, like, so I'm very skeptical about this trade, or not trade, the signing. We've all talked about it many times. Like, when you look at the pool that's available for free agents, you know, got Thomas Tatar, Taylor Hall, Landeskog. Now it's, you know, there's rumors out there that Hall's going to sign in Boston, so we'll see what happens there. It's nothing official yet. But, like, why are you putting all your bags in one basket with Hyman? Why isn't there, like, you know, why aren't you looking for other, like, wait to free agency and see if there's any other top 6 forwards that might make sense, or even trades? Like, why do you have to get this Hyman player? Now, I understand there's a few factors that go in play. You know, Hyman wants to play with McDavid. Yeah. It's been said before. He like, when you look at his advanced stats, it's very good. Like, very good advanced stats. He's probably rated the best, like, top 6 winger available, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. So, but when you look at his body, he plays a heavy game. He just came off a major injury 2 years ago of his ACL. Mm-hmm. He's 29. You know, like,
this was his career year too, right?
Yeah,
you signed him on after a career year.
Yeah, so I was yeah. Sure, go ahead.
There's so many factors. Yeah. I was just gonna say there's so many factors go in play here that, like, at the end of the, like, what I want to say is, at the end of the day, looks like we're about to sign him. So if we're gonna sign him, this is what I think. McDavid and Draisaitl have 5 years left to try to win a cup in Edmonton before they're both free agents. Who gives a shit about 7 years or an extra 2-3 years of Hyman? They're in win now mode. If Holland thinks that Hyman's the guy to bring in to fill in that top 6 role, he can play PK and stuff like that, then fine. But they're win now mode, so, like, if you look at the cap, it's not going to make that big of a deal at the end of the day for those extra years, because McDavid and Draisaitl is going to be gone. So you're going to have free shit ton of cap right there, regardless.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
for sure.
And I think that's where Holland's looking at.
Right. Yeah. I was kind of crunching the numbers too, just to see, like, his point per game average, and this season he was actually trending a little bit better than even Nuge. So, like, to think, they're going to give him similar money to Nuge might be a not bad plan. I mean, like you said, he's 29, Nuge is 28, so they're similar in age, kind of the same type of production, hopefully, and I think he'd fit pretty well on Connor's wing. He can probably even play with Draisaitl if need be too, kind of have like a Nuge and Hyman, see who kind of fits better with which center, I guess, too. So he'll give you some flexibility there. And also, like Cam was saying, like, his advanced stats, like in his defensive game, is a great upgrade to what I think we've seen on that wing in the past few years. So potentially,
and there's no question that he fills a hole that this team's had on that left wing too.
He fills a game hole. Yeah,
tried to fill it with Cahoon or something, like, it just didn't work.
It didn't work. So I guess if we look at the current makeup of the team right now, say Hyman's only top 6 forward he gets for us, so that's going to leave. So likely the first unit is going to be Hyman, McDavid, Puljujarvi. Second unit, Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, Yamamoto. That's what we're looking into, and then they'll probably interchange. So if there's days where Tippett decides to put Draisaitl with McDavid, then we're probably going to see Nugent Hopkins go to the second unit center with Hyman on the left wing.
Right. Yeah, and that is because they like, you know, it's no question that they like to put Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl together, and it always made the second line, you know, kind of weak, but it, you know, having Nuge and Hyman on there now, it had a much better look.
They'll have two really reliable top 2 lines. I think, like, they could go back for, like, they could rely on probably either one for offense in any type of situation, and then basically if they could find that bottom 6 that can kind of eliminate goals against, then I think they could have some potential here. Obviously, goals against is going to come depending on how our blue line kind of lines out, and if we find another goalie to come in here. Tough to say, but that kind of leads us into our next segment with Tyson Barrie talks and his potential for re-signing. So what do you guys think about Tyson Barrie?
I think, like, Holland said it throughout the season, so maybe that was his plan B. You know, he's signing one of two, either Barrie or Larsson. Yeah. But, like, you're not gonna 100% sign both. Like, Barrie might not want to come back here, even though he says he does. But, you know, just hypothetical. Looking at Barry though, like he led all defensemen in points. Very good offensive defenseman, but he sucks defensively. Like absolutely dog shit defensively. But that's why you play him with Nurse, someone that can,
That's why, yeah, you make the choice where you play him in the lineup, right? And when you put him on the ice,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But personally, I don't want Barry coming back because we need to groom Bouchard into that all-around number one rate D defenseman.
Right.
And if you have Barry on the squad, he's taken over that top unit power play. You're not giving Bouchard that unit, that first line power play. And Bouchard is a very integral piece of this core. So, like, that's going to be the future of the core. So I think bringing Barry in kind of, like, screws up the plans with Bouchard a little bit. And I personally think we should move on from Barry, bring someone else in, let Bouchard take over that role. Because what's going to happen is if Barry does sign with Edmonton, I'm confident that Bear's gone. So Ethan Bear.
Like, the other thing, too, with our power play, that first line likes to play. And that second line... That second PP line barely gets out there, and if they do, they got 20 seconds to do something.
Yeah, it's a short.
And
exactly.
If we have Tyson Barrie, he's on the first power play unit. So, you want to groom Bouchard and you want him on that power play. So,
exactly.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's tough to say. Yeah, I agree with the points with the whole. If Barry signs, then it kind of holds Bouchard back potentially another year. Holland kind of made the comment today in the press conference as well that he wanted Bouchard to be an everyday, always in the lineup guy this season, which is great. He finally said that. I mean, it's about time. Don't let this guy just marinate anymore in the AHL. Like, bring him up and play him every night. Wherever he kind of fits in the roster, like you said, you could pick and choose kind of the pairings and stuff, but I mean, they could probably, if they have Bouchard and Barry still, they could probably have two really good power play units as well. Maybe like the first unit doesn't have to play like a minute and a half to 2 minutes. Maybe they could actually alleviate some of that ice time, and then, you could probably still get some good second line power play unit going.
I think that's tough, man. When you have McDavid and Draisaitl, those two want to play all power play, so that's where it gets tough.
Yeah, because
it's.
But I guess it's the D can choose when to go out. I guess they can
exactly the D could choose to go up, so you don't have to worry about the D. The first units are going to matter, but that's what we kind of saw. We kind of saw Tippett mess around with Barry, Darnell Nurse, and then a couple times Bouchard took the first unit.
Yeah,
I think if Barry comes in though, if he's not playing the top unit power play, then why do you have him? Because that's what he's there. He's there to be that puck-moving defenseman for the first unit, but he's not good enough defensively, so it kind of brings him down a little bit. But you really have him there to be that power play specialist, and if you do, then the Bouchard doesn't get that opportunity to prove himself.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're getting him, he's playing on that top unit for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Bouchard played 14 games last year. He had 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points. So that's not too bad. I mean, for defensemen. For still being really young. So I think if he was to play a full season, I mean, his potential's probably there for some pretty good numbers, right?
He made good plays, he made good passes. He looked reliable out there, but he just never ended up getting a lot of ice time, never got in a lot of games, but at least he said it publicly that he's going to be a regular player, so I really like the sounds of that.
Yeah, for sure. So moving on, Mike Smith. Sounds like Holland kind of made a verbal confirmation of his contract re-signing here. It sounds like it's 2 years, coming in at 2.2 AAV. 39-year-old goalie. I mean, he had some great stats last year. So what do you guys think of the signing and dollar value they got for him?
This is a tough one, man. Mike Smith played really well last year, but he's old. 39 years old. Come on. Why do we need our old guy back? We already have Duncan Keith again, and there's some rumors going around that Holland is planning to have a Mike Smith, Alex Stalock duel this upcoming season.
Man.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with that. This is a goalie market. You got Frederik Andersen. You got Peter Mrazek. You have all these other goalies out there. Linus Ullmark.
Yep.
You know, it's a goalie market right now, and I don't agree with them bringing back Smith in terms of to be that starter. I don't mind him coming back to play that 1B backup role, 2.2 million. You know, he's probably a little more reliable than what Stalick will be or Koskinen. But they have to go out and get us a number one goalie. Like I like Linus Allmark. I think with him coming here could be a good fit with Smith. I don't know what to say. Personally, I'm like, it's 2.2 million. It's 2 years. I think it's 1 year longer than it should be, but whatever. It's not going to really handicap us next year, you know.
No.
So in terms of to be completely honest, I'm fine with it. He is old. That's all I can say. But whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah, I kind of have the same sentiment. He had a really good year. So he's a gamer. He'll come out and he'll play hard again. Probably could have another good season. It's kind of tough to have him for 2 years, to bet 2 years. It would be nice if we just keep doing a year contract, but he kind of earned it, I guess, last year. I don't hate it. I think it'll be all right, but like, I still don't have confidence in the goalie situation. I really would like them to, like Holland, to go out and find that goalie. Just like do the work and get some goalie.
Yeah, they're saying like there might be a potential market for Koskinen too, so they might be able to move him. I'm not sure what the team. Some other teams might need a 1B or like a solid backup, because you look at Koskinen too. Like whenever he was playing backup minutes, like he played fairly solid. But in the beginning of last year, when they relied on him to be that starter, when Smith was hurt for the first month, like he was terrible, right? Like he was complete dog shit. Lost multiple games for Edmonton, probably single-handedly because his glove hand and whatnot.
Yeah,
but
well, was that his last game that he played in this season when he led in 4 in a row there? Like that was just
straight shots.
That was hard.
Yeah.
That was hard to watch, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
I felt bad for him actually.
So that might be.
I think
Yeah. I mean, Stalock. I mean, he's 33. He didn't play a single game last year, but his season before that with Minnesota, he did play 38 games. He had 20 wins. He had a .910 save percentage and a 2.67 goals against. But I mean, that's with Minnesota. I mean, look at their defensive style and their structure that they play.
Yeah.
But give him a chance, maybe see what he can do. But I don't know if they should rely on him for a 1B position right off the bat, especially with Smith. I think there's better options out there, like you guys are alluding to. Like look at the Nedeljkovic.
I wonder what kind of a contract like an Anderson would get.
Yeah.
I think like when you look at Anderson and you look at like Grubauer is obviously going to get like a 4+ million per year, probably even close to 6. Anderson, given his age, given the season, I think he signs like a 1, maybe a 2-year deal, like a Braden Holtby type deal, 4.5.
Yeah.
Per year, maybe even around 3.5. Who knows?
Yeah.
I think, like I wouldn't mind him bringing him in personally, but would you want to come back here? Like
that's just the thing. But I wouldn't mind something like that. But you never know if they're willing to come here or not.
That's just it. Yeah, he's 31. Frederik Andersen. Did he even play much last year at all for Toronto? Like I think it was mostly.
He did.
He played earlier in the season.
24 games.
Yeah. And then Jack Campbell kind of went on that streak, right? Like
well, he got injured. But Anderson got injured, so he got lost spot.
Yeah, exactly. And then he didn't really get another chance to redeem himself. So I think that'd be a great signing for Edmonton as well, bringing Frederik Andersen from Toronto. I wouldn't mind that if like you said, maybe around 4 to 3.5-4 million per. It'd be interesting to see, but so moving on, kind of to our next point, the RFAs. Doesn't sound like Holland wants to qualify Kara or Cahoon. Personally, I'm okay with that. Maybe we'll start with Clayton. What are your thoughts on those two RFAs? That sounds like Holland would let go.
I've always really tried to be a fan of Jujhar Khaira. I think I kind of am a fan of Jujhar Khaira because he shows signs that he's a really good player. He's a good depth centerman for the team. He's a good penalty killer. I think the coaches trust him when they put him out on the ice. He got hit pretty hard in a fight earlier this season, and I think that affected him a little bit. I think he was was he concussed on that,
he
or
was-
maybe he
he
wasn't.
was-
Yeah,
He was messed
He got
up.
double concussed.
Yeah, he was messed
Yeah,
up.
he got double concussed. He got double concussed.
Oh,
this
because he
season.
got the hit after or something. Yeah, so I think he kind of had a tough year a little bit with that. But even when he is healthy, he can play just a really good game, and then the next game he just questionable decisions. It's just like he's a step behind,
Yeah.
just in his head on the play.
Yeah.
I think he's still an NHL player. He'll play on another team and help him out. It's kind of, I'm not sure how we fill him. We'll see what happens. But Dominic Cahoon, he just didn't do anything when he came here. He was kind of a ghost.
They had the high hopes that his countryman Draisaitl will help carry him a little bit, but they
Yeah,
didn't seem
like,
to
he
have that
played-
chemistry like they had way back in the day, right? Like,
Yeah, and like he got tons of good minutes to play with Draisaitl, and still just really couldn't do a lot.
yeah,
He doesn't drive offense. He's really talented, and he's pretty quick, but he's not a driver on his own. And I thought he still would be good with Draisaitl, man. Like, who isn't? But a guy with that skill level playing with Draisaitl and not doing anything, see you later, man.
Yep, I gotta agree. Just continue on the hero of Cahoon. Like, oh man, when he first came to Edmonton, I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe he might be able to do something good, but no, he's so soft. He's softer than Yamamoto, and that's not what you want for a small guy like that. You gotta be, if you're gonna be that small, you're not gonna produce any offense or really have any good skill. You're not even an NHL player. Like, you're just another, like, Tyler Ennis that we had who just couldn't do anything. So I'm happy we're not giving him a QO. There's no need for him to be on the team. It's done. We got too much depth right now. Well, we got younger guys that we should be pushing forward, kind of like Holland mentioned in the press conference.
yeah.
Going to Kara. I like Kara personally too, like you said, Clayton. But like, man, he pisses me off. Literally, like, there's games where he'll just skate around like a big puff, like remember when Draisaitl used to skate around and look all, huffy puffy, sluggish, real down on himself. That's what Kara is. I feel like all the time, except for certain situations, and it's kind of like casting too. So maybe it's just not Oilers thing.
It's just like he's not. It just sometimes looks like he's not engaged when he's
exactly
playing.
Just floating out
And
there. Yeah.
so I'm not like, I don't want him to come back, especially at 1 point. I think it's 1.2 million his QO was, or maybe 1 million. I don't know. There's no need for him.
Yeah,
So,
I read that they could still circle back and sign him for something.
They could,
cheap,
but he's from Surrey, so I have a feeling Vancouver's gonna throw an offer at him.
Yeah.
So I can totally see him going. I could totally see him going back home.
yeah, he's getting
Going to
signed somewhere.
Vancouver. And like he's better on the wing than center.
Yeah.
But he's gotten really good at center lately. I'll say that. So I think with him going to Canucks, he could be a good fit there to play a center winger type of fourth line, maybe jump up to third line type of role. So
I think so
I don't
too.
think he's coming back to Edmonton, to be honest. I think he probably wants a change of scenery, and I think Edmonton, same thing.
I agree.
Yeah, I have to agree with all those points. Like I said, I watched every game, and there's a few games where I would just be yelling at Kara, like, "Why the hell aren't you doing anything, man?" Like, and then, so I think we could find other players easily to fill kind of that role. And then same with Cahoon. I mean, we got a lot of young talent coming up the pipeline here on the wing. I think we should be fine. I think he played left wing most of the season. He was actually on right wing, I do think, for some games, but I think he could be filled elsewhere. So.
Yeah.
Jumping into kind of our next big topic. So Seattle Kraken, the big draft yesterday. Frank Cervalli kind of, he gave birth to that child before it was even born.
Oh man, that was hilarious. That tweet.
Yeah, that was great. Right?
You should give some context to that if you have the tweet handy.
So I'll look
Where
at
is
the
that
tweet,
tweet?
but it was pretty funny. I mean, because if you guys, Frank Cervalli with Daily Faceoff, so I think he was with TSM before.
Yeah, here I got the tweet.
There
So
you go.
he posted at 10:58 a.m. yesterday Mountain. Looking forward to watching the birth of Seattle Kraken tonight. Buckle up. The next 48 plus hours are going to be bananas. And then you have Pete Blackburn with the best quote or best reply ever. Bro, you just delivered the baby yourself. That's hilarious,
I mean,
man.
he was doing his job that day, man.
He did,
was
man.
earning his pay because everything was bang on to what basically happened, right? Like there was nothing that was off the chart or anything. Like he called it.
Oh, he was killing
Called
it.
it. Yeah. I mean,
With this situation, like this falls on the NHL, man. Like, why do you have a lag of 7 hours when the picks have to be in to when they're being? There's no need for that.
Yeah.
There's no need for that. Like, this is the second time it happened. Like Vegas, half the Vegas players got announced beforehand too.
exactly.
I think what should happen is like you have an NHL should be there with Seattle in Seattle, and that's when the registry should be going in. They should be making its registry picks an hour before it's announced, so then there's no leaks.
Yeah, because I mean,
And if there is any, and if there is any leaks, then it's very small amount leaks. But I understand why they're doing it because they want to call the players, make sure it's all good and everything. But still, it's just like,
yeah. And then we're watching the live expansion draft, and of course it was kind of a dull freaking event.
Anticlimactic,
I mean,
yeah.
anticlimactic. We knew what was happening, I think, and it was just like, oh my god, like it was boring to watch. I mean, I feel bad.
none
for
of those
Seattle,
players,
but
all those. Oh,
I think they
it's
were all like, holy
hilarious.
crap, what do we get into, right? But
They brought out all those MLB football stars,
yeah,
X stars there, and they couldn't even pronounce half the names.
no, I mean,
Yeah,
Miss
it was pretty
Marshawn
funny.
Lynch, they're butcher names like crazy, but.
Oh, he couldn't even announce it. He was like,
Yeah.
he's looking at it, he's like, oh, I don't even know what to say. So he's like, my boy, Cali.
Yeah, Kelly.
Cali.
Yeah,
Exactly. So, what are your guys' kind of initial thoughts on the Seattle roster so far? I mean, I know they're probably going to be making up to dozen amounts of trades here in the upcoming days. They're probably going to be signing some players. But what are your guys' initial thoughts on who they drafted?
There were some questionable picks. They really, I think they're being very careful with their cap situation. It's pretty obvious that's what they're doing. Like, we were talking on our last podcast, especially like, looking at Tarasenko or even like Philly. Like Philly had
Yeah.
couple really good guys that you could get, and they easily could have picked them. Like, look at all the cap space that they have, and you get a good player for long term kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's they really played it safe with the cap, and I think they're gonna kind of build from this base pool of prospects and a mix of good veteran players as well. Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised a little bit that what's his name? The goalie they didn't take from.
Kepo Kakinen.
Yeah.
They picked Susi, I think, on the blue line instead of him. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised on that one. And then I thought they might take Tarasenko. I was kind of surprised too on that.
Well, I thought so too, but then when you really look at it, Tarasenko has a no trade clause. So like if you take him, that no trade clause follows to Seattle. So it's gonna be really hard to move him, and I think that's probably why they're.
But I feel like he wanted to get traded, so
Yeah, I feel like he's
like
begging.
he's it seems like he's open to getting traded. So maybe that doesn't even matter.
Well, maybe it doesn't matter, but maybe it matters to Seattle because maybe Tarasenko is like, well, I'm only giving you 5 teams you can trade me to. You have the cap space. You can make this. You can make this happen. So
That's fair.
Yeah.
So I don't know. For me personally, I kind of predicted this was going to happen. I had a feeling that the Seattle was not going to be able to take advantage like Vegas did. So I saw them going after a younger group that was going to pick here, pick there. When I did my mock draft, I never went with a younger group. I kind of went with who they should go with personally. But when you really think about it, no one made trades to them. There was one side deal, but there was no pre-draft deals where like, okay, I'm gonna give you a 3rd round pick so you don't take this guy. And you could tell. I think the biggest thing saying here is Philadelphia. You had JVR, you have Voracek, you have Robert Hagg, and somehow they all kept them. Like Seattle went after a younger guy instead of Robert Hagg, who's still 26. So right there's a telling story that no one wanted to give anything to Seattle for them to protect anyone, and Seattle had to make a decision. Well, do we take these good players and flip them to get some more assets, take that risk, or do we just draft the way we want to draft, have all this cap space, and utilize that cap space to acquire expiring or overrated contracts to get more picks and stuff? So I think what they did is the right move compared to Vegas. Vegas just lucked out.
Yeah.
Teams were freaking out at that time.
Yeah,
I think
Vegas had 10 trades announced.
Yeah,
exactly
last time.
Exactly. It was kind of
But-
crazy.
But I gotta say though, what they drafted is definitely not a playoff team. They drafted a few players there that probably will get moved. So like if you're looking at Jordan Eberle, he likely will be moved next offseason. Giordano is probably going to stay for the full year. They're not going to trade him as much as you think they might, dump him at trade deadline. They're not going to do that. They want to create some character and culture in that city and that team. So I think Giordano stays the whole time. I have nothing against the team. I think initial thoughts wise, they went with a young group. They took a lot of chances on players that have a potential to be something. So I think what they did was the right move. Personally, if I'm the Oilers, they need to go after that Vince Dunn guy. They have so much D. Get Vince Dunn. Or even Carson Soucy. Yeah. Carson Soucy could be a perfect guy. Shut down D-man for us. So I hope the Oilers try to do something with them.
I like Vince Dunn. I think that would be an awesome trade.
Yeah, he's still really young, and he's left and right-handed D, so he can play either side. He's an RFA, so who knows what he's going to sign for.
Yeah.
So, I don't mind the roster that they drafted. I know they're definitely going to be lacking offense. Like, they're going to, unless they sign, like, Landeskog or something here, who knows? They got $30 million in cap, upwards of $30 million in cap. So they have the potential maybe to sign some big UFAs. Personally, I don't mind how they drafted. Like you said, they drafted really young. Like, I think the oldest guy was probably Giordano at 37, but they, like you said, they need some kind of leadership in their core. I think he'll stay there.
Yeah, the next oldest guy is Eberle.
Yeah, exactly.
Eberle's 31.
Yeah, exactly. So, which is, it's kind of crazy, but good plan for them. Yanni Gourde, he's done. I think he just had surgery, actually, so he's out 4 months already. He's going to miss the first month, basically. I think he'll be back in November. And then, and then Seattle, they just traded Pitlick as well today to Calgary for a pick. So they're starting to.
I know Calgary loves our sloppy seconds, don't they?
Yeah, Tyler Pitlick, no doubt. But I don't mind it. I like the goaltending that they drafted, like the Drieger and the Vitek Vanatek. I think that they'll be great. I mean, I think they might have a solid back end there. And I think they're going to get schooled, even in the Pacific Division. I mean, I don't know. I think Edmonton's going to beat up on them. Vegas is going to pound them. I think Calgary's going to be a little bit better, and like Vancouver's probably going to rebound. So I can't see them making the playoffs this year. They definitely didn't draft like a win now team. They kind of are thinking in the future, and like you said, making sure they had a lot of cap that they could play with, and that's their biggest ally. So I guess we'll see kind of how they play out here and what more trades and signings happen. But so that's not too bad. But and then
the sweet part is like it's a new team in the league, so it's like we almost need to try to plan a trip to Seattle now to go watch a game against the Oilers.
Yeah, it's not that far, right?
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
it definitely would be cheaper than Vegas.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think
probably cheaper than Edmonton. Even.
I think it would. I think I'm saying like maybe flights and like hotel room might be more expensive in Seattle, but I know if I go to Vegas, I'm just gonna go drop $5,000 on blackjack.
That's what you mean.
I mean, you can even drive. We did the drive to Seattle before.
That'd be fun.
You can do a road
but
trip, but yeah.
I don't know if I want to do that during winter.
Yeah, no.
Actually, I probably would. I wouldn't mind taking my car through the mountains.
Like
That'd be pretty fun.
Game, but anyways, so.
But I think it's
So Seattle Kraken.
It would be sweet to go to like their city and just watch the Oilers play there the first year. I remember everyone talking about Vegas.
Actually, I'd be.
Remember when like that was crazy. The first year when Vegas came here and Edmonton lost so many people. I think Oilers Nation did a huge trip to Vegas for the first game, and they had like a few hundred people go.
Yeah.
Right. I think that happened. Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
I remember that.
Anyway, so kind of getting to our next topic here. We're getting to some general NHL discussion now. We've seen the Weber news today as well. Sounds like he's going to be done all next season, potentially even career-ending with all of his injuries and stuff, right? Like he's kind of just a bandaged-up guy now. But what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Like, how's that going to impact Montreal? Like,
oh, that's tough for them. Like their defense, they got a great defense, but he is the number one piece on that defense for them. That's a really tough loss for them. I don't know how you feel that, but at least at least they still have Petrie and Edmondson, and Chariot, or however you say his name, like
Yeah.
th- they're still pretty good on the back end, but it hurts. It hurts, and he's their leader as well. And I've read a lot of good things about what he's done to that dressing room and the character of that team and stuff. So it's a tough blow, and it's sad to see a guy that's dominated the league on the back end ever since he joined the league. Played for Team Canada and stuff like that too. So and it sucks to see his career end this way. It was hard, seeing all the injuries that he was going through, and then just how his not just his next season, but his career might be over. And then you see it's kind of harder to go back and watch, when they lost in Stanley Cup Finals, and he was in tears there. It just makes it harder to see. But he had a great season, a really good career, and but yeah, it'll be a tough loss for the Canadiens.
Yeah, I would say so. It's never fun losing your captain. Like, Weber is that true captain piece. Like, very, very true leader. And like, no, I agree. It sucks losing him, but Montreal, they're gonna take advantage of that cap space, and so like that's a benefit right there for them, unfortunately. But there's nothing wrong with Weber. Like, Weber he's said many times he liked playing in Montreal. He wants to stay there. So I have a feeling if Weber cannot move forward, he's probably going to take up some type of internal role with Montreal and really guide those team and be that mentor to them.
I can see him being a coach someday.
Yeah. I really hope, though. I know Bergevin said that his career is likely done, but I really hope he takes his year off, heals up, and then comes back the year after and does it. I don't like him saying his career's done, and it sucks like that, because I don't think Weber's personally big on retiring, because the moment he says he's retiring, Nashville gets screwed over huge with that massive recapture pen. Up to $43 million in recapture penalties.
That'd be insane. Because
but he would never retire.
He's still got 5 years left on his contract, right? Like, that's.
I really hope he comes back. I really hope he comes back. Yeah. Like, even if he takes a year and a half off, just heal yourself.
Yeah.
Get prepared and skate and come back. I want to see him come back and finish his contract, just because he's a great player. And you know what? Like, I don't know, man. I feel like he's a gamer. I don't feel like he gives up easily. So, like, Bergeron saying his career is likely done, I don't like that comment at all.
I know. You know what? I actually thought the same thing. I'm like, why is he saying that all of us, like, right off the bat? Say his season's done.
Yeah. Weber's not that type of player. He's a gamer. Like, he will. I don't know. I hope he comes back, but we'll find out.
Yeah. Like if him saying that his career might be over, let Weber say that.
Yeah. Exactly. Put the words out of his mouth. Yeah. Like, he's still like 35, so he has time to heal. Like you said, he's got another 5 years on his contract, so it's like $7.857 million cap it. I mean, they'd free up a lot of space, put him on LTIR next year, so they could probably fund the assets elsewhere if they need to, but definitely a huge blow. I mean, like you said, he's their captain, he's their leadership. Like, look at how much he played in the playoffs this season, how far he dragged. Him and Price kind of helped Montreal away all along the wall line. He was a beast. I mean, I think like you guys are saying, like, he is a gamer, he wants to play. I don't think he's just gonna roll over and
just accept that he's done. Yeah,
no, exactly. So that kind of leads like into Price, I guess, too. So everybody thought he might be out the whole season,
Yeah, there were some good memes that came out after that.
Yeah. So.
Oh man, I gotta say, that's hilarious. His wife played into it too. All those cryptic messages, and we're going down south, literally like 10 hours before the draft type of thing, just to play in the whole shebang.
Yeah.
I think we all knew that Kraken wasn't going to take Price. I mentioned many times, I hope they did. Yeah. But yeah, it's just and plus his injury, like 6 to 8 weeks, That's what they're saying.
6 to 8 weeks, yeah. So a month and a half to 2 months potentially. So
he's gonna be back next season. So he's gonna be back playing healthy.
He'll be
I do think the contract is terrible. Like, it is terrible contract.
It would be too risky to take that on for Seattle.
Terrible contract, and so smart move on his part to request to be exposed.
Yeah, it was his idea too. Yeah. He came up with that idea, that plan, because they were afraid they're going to lose Jake Allen to the expansion, and they're like, holy crap. And then Price is
Yeah.
like, hey, why don't you just leave me unprotected? I'll waive my no trade clause. Leave me unprotected. That way you don't lose Allen. And like, do you think they're actually going to take me? And then I don't know. It just maybe happened to work out that they had the whole injury thing kind of come up. And I know Ron Francis was trying to get all the hospital documentation and everything. Like, he wanted it in fine detail and stuff because they were seriously thinking about taking him, right? So it was pretty crazy.
Well, I heard that Ron Francis was a little irked. He didn't think that he was given like enough clarity or transparency,
right,
on Price's injury. So I thought that was a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that's Bergeron for you, man. He never gives anything out. That's just who he is.
Yeah, I wonder what like the protocols are there. Like maybe there's nothing in stone what you have to do. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
pretty interesting, but yeah. So then getting into some of the trades that kind of went down today there after the freeze was lifted at 11 p.m. our time. We've seen Nedeljkovic get traded. So Carolina's a young and upcoming goaltender get traded to Detroit for Jonathan Bernier.
That's a money thing right
that's
there.
Third. Yeah.
So that's strictly money.
That's a head scratcher, though.
Well, you got their owner, and his owner's flat out said that they have an internal cap, and they're going to have a money that's available for you, and if you don't want it, well, then we're trading you. He said it many times. So like, it's unfortunate because like that's his future goalie. So who are they going to go back with? So
like Mrazek maybe or what?
I just don't get it. Like,
but it's like, what did he get? What did he get signed at? He got signed at
3.5,
$3 million for
3 million,
years, yeah.
$3 million a year. I'm like, that's your internal cap that you told him that you can't even pay him $3? Like, what?
Yeah, I know. Like, I think Carolina royally screwed up right here on this.
What are you gonna get to replace that? That's less than $3 million. And, frickin' of course it's Yzerman that makes the trade too.
CUI. Yeah, you still got it right. But I mean, Carolina's got 3 UFAs right now as it stands, so they got Bernier in the trade. They still got James Reimer potentially. I don't know if they want to re-sign him, and then Peter Mrazek.
Oh man,
I mean Mrazek, he would look good in Edmonton. Wouldn't you guys say? I mean, like 29 years old.
I would think so.
That'd be a great one.
He's a Holland player.
Yeah.
He's a Holland player, yeah.
Hey, there we go, man. Let's
Holland loves his ex-players, so
spread the news.
It's a head scratcher, like Clayton said, head scratcher. But hey, you know what? Good for Detroit, man. Good for Detroit.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, great trade for them.
Yeah, and then we've seen some other trade. Ghost Despair from Philly. They actually added 2 picks to this, so it was Ghost Despair, a 2nd rounder, and a 7th rounder to Arizona for nothing. Literally nothing.
Pure cap space.
Nothing.
Pure cap space.
So maybe future considerations, they say. But so
I like that. I like that for Arizona. You know why? Because Ghost Despair is still a great offensive D man. He had a rough year. You get him for nothing, and so think about it. If he has a good start to the year, come trade deadline, perfect candidate to retain some money and flip him.
There you go. Yeah, that's true.
So you're getting. So you might get more than a 2nd and a 7th and what for
him.
Ghost Despair.
Yeah. He had probably 2 years that he struggled, but change of scenery can do a lot for a player. So it is Arizona though, but we'll see.
That's just it. Yeah,
definitely.
He's still fairly young. What is he, like 28? And I think he had like a 4.5 cap hit for the next 2 years. So Philly wanted to move him out. I mean, there's potential that they might go for Hamilton, I heard as well. So we'll kind of see how that plays out, I guess, in Philly. A few more kind of the signings. So Barclay Goodrow signed with the Rangers as well. 6 years, around 3.6 million AAV. Do you think that's kind of a little bit of an overpayment or what? Like, what's your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, for him, 100%.
Yeah.
You're giving the guy that much money who scored, what did he get last season? Like 5 goals? 6 goals?
Yeah, I think his highest was like 8 goals per season or something.
Yeah, you don't get him as a goal scorer, but like you're paying him like a goal scorer, maybe.
6 goals. Like he's a great 3rd-line winger. Brought a lot of energy, a lot of drive, a lot of forecheck of Tampa Bay. He was perfect for that role. And like that whole line, who was that line? It was like Goudreau, Gordy, and someone else. No, Gordy was second unit. So
Tyler Johnson, Yanni Gord, and
Maroon.
Oh, Rig. Yeah, Big Rig probably was on there.
Wait, no, I think so. Anyways, like he did really well for Tampa Bay for his role, but to come to Rangers and Rangers to give him 6 years of that money, like what are they expecting from him?
Yeah,
like
that was
well, I'm like
question.
like if that's over 6 years, like what were they paying him for like a 3 or 4 year contract?
No idea.
Which is
That's
kind of
insane.
scary.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it is scary. I agree. I'm. It is what it is. Rangers. I guess maybe they want
For
a
an
little more
effective bottom 6 player, though.
Yeah.
I'm just curious what the Rangers, like if you're looking at the Rangers right now, like what's the plan for them? Because they were expected to do better, then they let go. They had like that year-end dilemma.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
Right.
like now then you had your number 1 pick not even like do well for a first overall pick.
Oh yeah.
in
Oh,
Lafreniere.
yeah, for sure. Lafreniere with the
And you
bust.
had Panarin with all those issues. Like they have a great team, but when you really look at their defense, aside from Adam Fox, like
Oh, he's a stud.
and Keandre Miller, like Trouba really regressed this season. He's paying a lot of money. He didn't have a great season.
$8 million a year.
He's terrible.
Yeah.
Another
So-
5 years.
The old D'Angelo.
I'm really
thing
curious what-
too, right? Tony D'Angelo.
I'm
all
re-
of his
They're gonna
stuff.
buy him
I'm
out.
curious.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm curious where this team goes
yeah.
to.
So just kind of looking at Rangers roster, like they have a good core. Like they got like Panarin, Kreider, Zibanejad. I heard potentially Ryan Strome might get traded too here. So we'll kind of see what happens with him. Another great player. They just signed Goudreau, and then like you said, some of their like Lafreniere had a terrible kind of inaugural year there. Really rough. Capo Caco, I don't know if he's gonna work out there. And then we had the whole D'Angelo thing come down. So like you said, they're probably gonna end up buying him out. And they got like some good goaltending. Like Shesterkin is young; he's an RFA this year. Georgiev, and then Kincaid for kind of a third wheel there. But so they got a good, I think, pieces in place. But they gotta get something going here.
Yeah, well, there's rumors that they're trying to trade Booch, right? Like,
Yeah,
and that's because he's got arbitration, right? So he had a really good season, so they think he's gonna get a pretty good contract out of that, I guess. And I guess are they trying to get rid of him because it's just going to be too rich for them? Because in a few years they got to sign again. Is that kind of get rid of him? Because he had a really good
think so.
season.
I don't know.
did, yeah.
To be honest, I never really looked into it too much to see why they want to get rid of him. I think it has to do with the arbitration rights. I think they don't want to give him more than he's worth.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they're going to compare to some. They're going to look at some overpaid contracts probably, and it's just going to be too much because they have.
Well, look at
They have Zibanejad to sign, and then they have Lafreniere and Capo Caco at some point. Adam Fox is going to be the big one.
yeah.
like he had 3 good years. Like like he's a good top 6 winger, man. Like if I wouldn't mind getting Oilers to go after him.
That's what Oilers should get.
Yeah, make it some kind of trade, right? That'd be great.
I know they're going after Hyman. Why don't you just go after freaking this guy? 6'3", 200 pounds,
26.
Bush, yeah,
26.
A little bit younger.
He's a forechecker.
he'd be great. Anyways, yeah. So getting back,
Yeah.
so we've seen Hall get signed as well too. I think today with Boston.
No,
Potentially.
No.
Potentially.
Potentially.
that's not official. That's a potential.
Yeah,
it's not
it's
official
same
yet.
with
Nothing's
the,
been
same with the
announced.
Hyman
So.
stuff, right? It's all kind of just up in the air. But
Well,
4 years, $6 million.
Hall's with Boston. Hall's with
Yeah.
Boston though, so like they should be able to announce beforehand, unlike Hyman.
Yeah.
But nothing's announced yet, and they kept saying all day today it's gonna be announced today, but then it wasn't.
Right.
So
Ooh.
I don't know.
What are you
I don't
thinking,
know
Cam?
I don't know. Well, he's not coming to Edmonton. I think it's pretty clear, but there's definitely a hiccup there. I think
Cam-
Hall knows.
It's just like 2. It's like 2 in the morning, and Cam's laying in bed, just like refreshing his Twitter.
Give me Hall. Give me Hall.
He has Hall in the search bar on Twitter, and he just keeps refreshing it.
Yeah, give me back my Hall so I can finally put that game used jersey to use.
Yeah.
There you go.
But no,
Yeah.
I do want back to Edmonton, but I think it's clear he's not coming back here.
No.
I just think there must be something going on the contract. Like they're saying, what, 4 years, $6 million per
Yeah,
year.
exactly. 24.
I think Hall's realizing that he can get more, and so I wonder if this hiccup right now is like he's like, you know what? If I'm doing 4 years, I want more.
Maybe he resigns in Buffalo. Not.
He'd
That'd
have
be
some fun
terrible,
down there,
man.
Yeah, holy crap, eh? But that'd just be
God, that team's a mess.
Yeah. We need another fresh podcast to discuss that.
yeah. We
Exactly.
gotta go-
But like, what do you guys think? Like I know it's getting held up right now, but you guys it's pretty much a done deal with him signing in Boston. So,
Yeah,
like,
it sounds
what are your
pretty
thoughts on
certain
that?
that he'll get
I
there.
think like tomorrow
Yeah.
or
Oh,
something.
it's a good signing for them.
Yeah.
He seemed like he played pretty good for them, and Boston has they still have a bit of a window here to win, and they bring Holland to do that. I think it's a good move for them.
Yeah, I think it's
And for him.
I think it's great. I mean, $6 million a year is probably pretty good bang for your buck with Hall. He probably
I think it's about right.
he's
Like
probably
that
worth
contract
that,
is
though,
just about
'cause
right.
you look, yeah, like he hasn't put up some big numbers in the last few years, so he's probably worth only about 6. I mean, you kind of compare him to some of the big elite players, but he essentially isn't anymore. I don't think so. 4x6 would be great for him. Like you said, Boston's windows closing, I think, fairly quickly here. They got some of their aging core. Like Marchand's up at 33. I think Bergeron's at 35 for an age. Pasternak's 25, so Pasternak's pretty young still. But I think Hall would be a good left winger for them to make another push.
They got 3 years.
3 years max. Yeah.
They got maybe
They probably do. Yeah.
4 years to win another cup. That's it. Because like Bergeron's a UFA after this season.
Yeah.
They're gonna re-sign him. He's 35, like you said. Marchand's 33. They don't have a goalie right now, so who knows if Tuukka Rask is coming back or not?
Yeah, that's true.
I think they're gonna move. I think they're gonna move on from Tuukka Rask. I think
I
honestly,
feel like
that
Rask
Anderson-
is just. I feel like I have a feeling Rask is just like losing his interest in playing.
Yeah, because he was absent like all last year, I think it was. Or was it the year before with the bubble? He opted.
I think it was the year
completely
before
out.
the bubble.
He just
Yeah.
opted out of everything, right? And then
It's just funny to see how Hall's going to sign in Boston, and that's a team that could have drafted him if we drafted Sagan instead of Hall.
yeah, that's funny. Eh? How, it all comes around full circle.
Maybe now Tyler Sagan needs to come to Edmonton.
Complete the circle. But we got about 4 minutes left here. So any other kind of NHL rumors you guys are seeing that we haven't touched on today, or any other Oilers stuff?
Well, there's this one tidbit.
Yeah.
So Ryan Rishaug was talking on TSN 1050, and he mentioned that if the Oilers need to go on a big, deep playoff run this next season, otherwise he foresees McDavid / Draisaitl requesting a trade. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but like that kind of, I feel like Rishaug, he likes to cause shit.
Yeah.
So I feel like him going on TSN 1050, not 1260, the Edmonton one, talking about this, kind of like he's just doing it to cause shit.
He's just flinging
Yeah.
shit against the wall.
It's,
So it's gonna stick. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also like the comment is also a very obvious comment. Like if they never have progress in the playoffs for the rest of their contract, they're gonna go.
Yeah.
So, but I think what he said was before, like if in the next little bit, I think is what he was implying. The next like maybe few years that they would leave before their contracts are up, like request to leave. So, and like maybe he's causing shit. He probably is, but he's also pretty in tune with the team too. So
that's
I listen when he says stuff a little bit too. So
that's funny you bring it up that he didn't even bring it up, like it was on 1050 radio, not like so it's
I didn't say it on 1060.
like what the heck, eh? But that's same
1260.
That's
Sorry.
the same thing like saying, oh well, Matthews wants out of Toronto because they can't win a freaking playoff series to save their freaking lives, right? It's the same kind of thing. Like, come on, like I don't think it's gonna happen. I think he's just blowing smoke to see who's gonna catch it. But I don't know. I can't see a team having the cap to take on $12.5 million, and then Draisaitl's $8.5, which is quite the bargain of a contract actually when you think about it for Draisaitl. But
Oh, like Clayton said, there's a team. It's called Detroit Red Wings.
yes, Detroit, New Jersey, maybe the Kraken. Who knows? But
Could you imagine that? They request trades and Steve Eisman comes flying in. Hey, buddy, I'm ready.
oh man, yeah.
I've built everything up to take you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing right now. He's building his roster to fit those two in.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy, but Edmonton would burn, I think, the day McDavid gets traded. Kind of same thing with the Gretzky era there.
Maybe it's Matthews and McDavid.
Yeah, there you go. But right on, guys. So I think we're going to call this episode 3 a wrap here. It's been pretty much an hour here, so we kind of we're going to try to cap ourselves for an hour going forward, just to keep it within the restraints.
Don't need to waste it.
Exactly.
People's time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
It was fun.
It was a great one. Yeah.
This was a good one.
So
Yep.
we'll have to stay tuned here. See, maybe next week we'll touch base on maybe the NHL entry draft.
probably Monday.
Yeah, we'll kind of touch base on how the draft goes, and then also we'll kind of gear up for this free agent frenzy here coming up on the 28th. So that's I think next Wednesday. That's just going to be a crazy day. It's always fun. Lots of action, and I can't wait. So, right on. Awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, this is Tipsy Toe Drag Podcast featuring we got Cameron, and we got Clayton, and we got myself, Trent, or TK.
Awesome.
Right on.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care.
Yeah.
Cheers for now.